Hey, this is Blondeguygamer, and welcome to another Kickback review. Here we have a, shall we say, infamous Kickstarter game, Mighty Number 9. Now, chances are you already at least heard of the less than stellar reviews, the awful marketing from the trailer, and the alleged mismanagement that led to one of the more outspokenly disappointing releases to come from a crowdfunded developed game. However, I will try not to be a dead horse and just talk about the game for what it is. Pitched back in 2013 by Keiji Inafune and his Comset studio, Mighty Number 9 promised to deliver a spiritual successor to the classic and X style of Mega Man games. And since Capcom was, and still is for the most part, neglecting the Blue Bomber for a new entry, a lot of people were more than eager to support this, with the campaign and PayPal donations afterwards earning a total of over $4 million. Now, while I did contribute this, I actually haven't played a whole lot of Mega Man myself. Of the main games, I own copies of Mega Man 2, 3, X, and 9, which are arguably some of the best of those series, but I haven't beaten any of them yet as of this video. Still, I get the appeal of Mega Man, even if I'm not that good at it, and because of the buzz the Kickstarter created, I went ahead and got a digital copy. 3 years and some delays later, Mighty Number 9 was released this June on just about every available platform, and when the time came to pick what to play this on, I chose the Wii U, which regrettably wasn't the best choice, but I'll get to that later. Our story takes place in the present year. I guess that's this game's equivalent of 20XX, where robots start going berserk in the United States and it's up to our heroic bot Mighty Number 9, aka Beck, to stop them. This game plays almost exactly like a Mega Man entry, side-scrolling with jumping and shooting. What makes Mighty Number 9 a little different from those is Beck's dash ability that after weakening enemies allows him to assimilate them. This can also give you buffs for a short time depending on what you absorb, such as a more powerful blaster that can shoot through several targets or faster running speed. But these are only attained in some of the enemies, as the rest simply give you points. Because of that, there's no item drops in doing this, and you have to rely on the occasional pickup in the levels and any like plug robots that can give assortment of goodies at checkpoints if you need them. Among these are one of two health refills you can use from the pause menu like an energy tank from Mega Man, with the other you acquire by absorbing several baddies in a combo that you maintain by dashing into them as soon as they are weakened for 100% assimilations. As for the bosses, the method of assimilation still applies, only you need to lower their health in set increments, then dash into them to take away that chunk before it heals back. Speaking of bosses, after the intro stage, we're given the task to save Beck's fellow Mighty Numbers 1 through 8, who have essentially gone Maverick. Upon defeating them in each of their stages, Beck uses his power to save them and gain their abilities in Mega Man fashion. The weapons you do get have about the same range that typically comes from a game of that series. Switching between them can be a bit cumbersome though, since you have a real-time selection and being able to assign powers to 3 buttons instead of a pause menu or using the shoulder buttons to switch right away. Once you do figure that out, some weapons can be useful, while others you may not find much utility besides on the Mighty Number that it's weak to, which is of course how you deal with the rest of them easily after defeating your first one. In fact, the game pretty much outright tells you what stage to go to next with your new weapon from the advice selections that appear. On one hand, you won't funnel around trying to figure out boss weaknesses, but on the other it eliminates experimenting to discover these things on your own. One thing I do like is that the stage Mighty Numbers will help out in the stage they advise in, usually dealing with a stage hazard or two. It is one of the better aspects in this game to make these characters more involved outside of just being bosses. As for the stages themselves, they're a mixed bag. Most are pretty conventional areas you may have already seen in Mega Man games, right down to the sometimes unfair instant death areas and their level designs. I get that was in the old Mega Man games too, but let's just say you may want to increase your lives counter to 9, if you're not experienced in dealing with this sort of thing. Beck does at least grab ledges, which is used throughout, but other than that and absorbing enemies, there's not a whole lot of ingenuity to make this stand out from classic Mega Man. I will give the game this though, Beck does control well enough with smooth and responsive controls, even if some of the more advanced moves aren't really explained unless it's absolutely necessary or even not really needed at all. After saving the 8 Mighty Numbers, you have a stage where you need to use some of your gain abilities to get through and another where you control a support robot Call, which does change things up a little bit. Then it's the final stage and boss, which was not very fun to deal with, I'll just say that much. And that's it for the main game. It's not too long once you know what to do. There are a few extras such as the Ray DLC that got included with back copies, where you go through an extra stage and fight Ray, who might as well be a Rule 63-0. After defeating her, you actually unlock the character for a separate mode, where you play through the game as Ray who needs to absorb enemies or her health drains, forcing you to play through levels fast and getting as many enemies as you can. It's interesting as a side story kind of thing, but I can see Ray's gimmick being a pain in the ass in later stages. There's also a retro skin for pre-ordering or packing the game, which looks more like a Minecraft skin and is only accessible in the one-hit death maniac difficulty. In terms of non-DLC unlocks, you do have extra modes such as challenge levels, a boss rush, and 2-player online races and co-op challenges. Online race battle is simply broken. There's no other way to describe it. My connection has never been very good, but the person that joins will always have bad lag, and the actual racing doesn't seem to work or even matter. The co-op challenges fare a little better, with one player as Beck and the other as Call. These at least work in some capacity, but with the online system the way it is, it's not really worth playing them all. The online is by far the worst part of this game, and if delaying the game didn't fix it, then I doubt it ever will be. Speaking of performance, I should reiterate that the Wii U version is not recommended. It doesn't look or run as good as the others, with the frame rate dipping down constantly, even to single digits in one stage if there's a lot going on. Not to mention the roughly 20-second load times even when you lose a life, and one time the game flat out crashed on me, forcing a hard system reset. Needless to say, the game is not optimized for the Wii U. If you were to get this game on anything, I'd say the Steam version has the least amount of problems that I'm aware of. Wii U issues aside, I will admit this is not the best looking game out there. The environments are pretty drab, and while the character designs aren't bad, the way they are handled in 3D can vary. Most of the robots I find are fine, but the humans such as Mighty Number's creator Dr. White and Call creator Dr. Sandra look like they're made out of plastic, coupled by the fact that cutscenes are stilted with limited animations for the 3D models. As such, the story suffers because of them, which is the standard fare otherwise. Audio is about the same, with the music being alright, even having an 8-bit style option, but it's pretty diluted on the default sound mixing. Voice acting is, well, it's not as bad as something like Mega Man X7, but that's not saying a whole lot. There are professional voice actors like Yuri Lowenthal and Steve Bloom lending their talents, but a lot of lines in the delivery are pretty corny. I'd say it's your average Saturday morning cartoon quality. So with all that said, do I regret backing and playing this game? Not entirely. I'm speaking as a casual Mega Man fan that simply got a digital copy out of this, and I have played worse, but there were definitely a few missteps. It's just that a lot of people's expectations were really high for this game. They were very eager to show Capcom that if they can't give us another Mega Man, then we'll fund our own. And we got my number 9, and it's okay at best. If anything, I think one of the problems was that I was trying too hard to be like old school Mega Man with only a couple of nuances to try and be a proper successor. I had the mismanagement, tech issues from trying to have the game on this many systems, and a lackluster presentation, and it's understandable to be disappointed with how this turned out. If you're a Mega Man fan, well, you probably already backed or bought this whether or not you liked it. For everyone else, it could be a serviceable game, though you may get frustrated with some of the arbitrarily designed gameplay more catered to those fans. I guess this goes to show that not all these projects become as good as you hope. Although I still look forward to games like Yooka-Laylee and Bloodstains as spiritual successors. They seem to be going more smoothly so far at the very least. As Mighty Number 49526, that's all I have to say about this game, so I'll see you all in the next video.